Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k 8th edition reveal video. Today's video will be the first of the faction focus reveals done by Games Workshop, and it will be looking at Chaos Space Marines. So this will be more of a know thy enemy video rather than all about the Guard. So essentially this reveal done by Games Workshop is to get Chaos Space Marine players pumped for 8th edition, because Chaos Space Marine players for the longest time have maintained that their army is one of the weakest, if not the weakest out there. I think Orc players and Imperial Guard players would like to have a word with them about that. But essentially this article doesn't go into a lot of specific detail, but it does come up with a few things that as Guard players we should be aware of, maybe we should think about, start preparing for. So the article starts off, it says, it acknowledges the fact that most of the time you don't see a lot of actual Chaos Space Marines in the armies. You see a lot of cultists, which is a bit silly, and the sort of first half is dedicated to saying, well, Chaos should be these really, really awesome bad guys, but they're not, and it's a bit weird how Chaos Cultists are like the mainstay troop choice instead of Chaos Space Marines, and they want to make Chaos Space Marine actual squads the #1 troop choice for Chaos players, which is good. That's obviously, from a Chaos player's point of view, that is awesome, because that's kind of why you want to play Chaos, isn't it? You want to have your traitor Astartes, you want to, have men that have been actually fighting the lapdogs of the Emperor. You don't want your army to essentially be, a bunch of cultists running around backed up by like some random crazy shit. You want some actual Chaos Space Marines in there. So that's good. That's good. What does that mean for the Guard? Well, it obviously means that we're going to have to be able to bring lots of weapons that can cut through power armor. It means we're going to be facing a lot of Chaos Space Marines, and that means a lot of power armor, and that means we're going to need a lot of plasma guns, las cannons, anything that can cut through armor. Because what you've got to remember, guys, is these Chaos Space Marines are going to have a 3+ save basic. You stick them behind any sort of cover, that's going to go up to a 2+ save. So, we're going to need our big guns to punch through their armor. They go on to say, again, sort of a continuation of that, they say you never see Havocs anymore, so we want you to be using Havocs. Again, that's just another reinforcing by Games Workshop that they want Chaos Space Marines to get used to using power armor. And that's sort of, we should take note of that as Guard players, but other factions should also take note of that. It means that Games Workshop is pushing power armor. They want power armor to be important again, because currently it's not that great. I mean, it's alright, but tend to find that a lot of Space Marine players don't think much of tactical squads, and Chaos Space Marine players don't think a lot of Chaos Space Marine squads. So Games Workshop's obviously acknowledged that, and they're pushing power armor. So I think that's basically means that it's going to be tougher to remove these guys from the field. I mean, sure, they're going to be getting a 3+ save, but considering that a lot of weapons don't flat out ignore their armor save anymore, so a plasma gun, for example, only does -3 to their armor save. Well, even if they're out in the open, that still means they're going to get a 6+, right? It's going to go from a 3+ to a 4+, 4+ to a 5+, from 5+ to a 6+. So they should still get a save. And if they don't, or if they're in some cover, they'll definitely get a save. But I'm pretty certain it means if you hit them with a plasma gun or a las cannon, they're still going to get a save. Which is interesting, very interesting. Power armor pretty much guarantees you a save against everything but Melter. And if you're in cover, you're even going to get a save against Melter. So, for Guard players, like I said, I'm not going to repeat myself too much. Guard players, take note. Expect to see a lot more power armor here in the field. They also give hints, weapons like las cannons, autocannons, missile launchers, and even heavy bolters are going to be doing plenty of work. Well, that's good for us. I've done many videos I've done a series of videos on the different heavy weapons of the Guard. Whilst they will obviously be, you know, be different from 7th edition to 8th edition. There'll still be some good points in them. Still some relevant things. So if you haven't seen those, go and check them out. But what I'm trying to get at here is heavy weapons are going to be key. Games Workshop are telling us heavy weapons are going to be really, really important. And guess what? Guard can spam heavy weapons of all kinds. Awesome. They go on saying, you know, Abaddon is a bit shit now, but he's going to be awesome. They don't really give any specific examples of why he's going to be awesome. They just say he will be really, really good. Okay, whatever. I don't really care about Abaddon all that much. You know, like any character out there, he will go down to another fucking Lasgun bolts. Just like I would say, expect Abaddon to now be able to rival, like, you know, Robert Gilliman or something like that. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of factions out there which are going to have the ability to rival a Primarch. So Abaddon's going to be tasty. That doesn't really mean much to the guard. Just keep an eye out for it. Don't let them get close if you can help it. Interesting one is they talk about demon engines a couple of times in the article. That's really important for guard players because what you've got to understand now is that demon engines are going to be like monstrous creatures. They're going to be really good. They're going to be really tough, really powerful. So I think that's really, it's good for us to know as guardsmen that we can expect to see a lot more demon engines out there. I also think it's really good for Chaos Space Marine players because there's always that risk when playing Chaos Space Marines that you feel like you're just collecting spiky Space Marines. You know, oh, you've got Chaos Predators, oh, you've got Chaos Space Marines, you know, Chaos Terminators. You don't feel like you've got a lot of separation, a lot of unique units. Well, Demon Engines are definitely a unique unit. Right from when the Defiler was first introduced, right up to now, we've got Forge Fiends and Mauler Fiends and Helldrakes and all this stuff. So it's going to be really cool to see, you know, you're going to be able to look down at a table and know I am definitely, or, you know, a table that you're not playing on and be like, there's definitely Chaos Space Marines there because, you know, Demon Engines are a very unique looking model. So that's really cool. What does that mean for the guard? Well, I've always found Demon Engines to be actually pretty respectable. I know a lot of competitive players say they're a bit shit, but I've actually always found Demon Engines to be, you know, respectably, you know, a unit to be respected. No guard commander should underestimate a well-used Demon Engine. And in fact, if you guys go and check out some of my battle reports, you'll notice that there's a battle where I absolutely get fucking pwned by some Demon Engines. You know, it's a real tough fight, and that shows off how a well-used Demon Engine can be really invaluable asset to an army. So again, guys, be wary. These Demon Engines, they are going to be putting out a lot of DACA, and they are going to be hard as nails now. So be aware. The last thing that they talk about is Khorne Berserkers, and they say that Khorne Berserkers are going to be amazing. They say Chain Axes are going to be amazing, but they don't give any specific reveals about how they're going to be amazing. One thing that I found interesting is they say Khorne Berserkers are going to be amazing because now when they charge, they'll always strike first. And it's like, okay, cool, but that's not a Khorne Berserker specific buff, is it? That's a general buff. So this makes me a little bit sad because I don't know if you guys know, I've probably never really said it on this channel before, but I have quite a large Khorne Berserker Chaos army. I think I have something like 40 Khorne Berserkers that are led by Khan the Betrayer. It's a very fluff-wise army. So if I've always wanted Khorne Berserkers to be absolutely amazing, it will be really interesting to see if they are absolutely amazing, because you guys know I love my bayonet charge as well. I love close combat in general, and Khorne is obviously, if you want to do close combat right, you go and get yourself some Khorne 8 models. But what does that mean for the guard? Well, it means that Chaos is going to want to be getting in your face, and there's this general vibe that I've picked up from a lot of sort of sources and people online and whatnot, which is that first turn charges could definitely be a possibility. First turn charges currently are quite easy for many armies to pull off, but they're not 100% like widespread for every army. I'm going to get the feeling that with 8th edition, first turn charges are going to be a staple strategy for many close combat armies. If that's true, then Khorne Berserkers will become very powerful. Because what I've always found when using Khorne Berserkers and when facing off against Khorne Berserkers as a guard player is if they reach my front lines, they are going to rip me apart. I've had a unit of 8 Khorne Berserkers rip through a 40-man conscript blob in a matter of 2 assault phases. Insane. They are potentially absolutely insanely powerful. They tend to slow down after they've charged, and they really struggle with durability because they feel like a unit that should have feel no pain, but they don't have feel no pain. So it'll be interesting to see how that is mitigated in 8th edition, because no one denies that Khorne Berserkers are actually really powerful. No one actually denies that. You know, what people say is bad about Khorne Berserkers is they struggle to get there and they're quite fragile. They are a glass cannon. So to make the unit effective, that's something Games Workshop's going to have to pull out. One thing that's going to be interesting, one last thing I want to say, is Khorne Berserkers are weapon skill 5 and regular Marines are weapon skill 4. That means regular Marines hit on a 3+ in the current edition. In the upcoming edition, does that mean we're going to see Khorne Berserkers hitting on a straight always 2+? If so, that's going to be insanely powerful. So guys, keep an eye out for Zerkers. You know, if Games Workshop has acknowledged them in this article, that means for 8th edition, be prepared for Berserkers. Be prepared for them. I think that every respectable Chaos army is going to feature 2 to 3 squads of Chaos Space Marines, a couple of Demon Engines, and 1 or 2 squads of Khorne Berserkers. And I think they're going to be used as a first wave monster blow. They're going to be the new Chaos Alpha Strike. That's what I feel like Berserkers are going to become. That's pure speculation, but that is the vibe I'm getting from just general internet sources. So be aware of them and be prepared for them. Of course, having sacrificial ranks of infantry will probably be the best way of dealing with them, and shooting them to shit is also going to be our sort of main counter to them. But like I said, just be aware of them and try your best to not get psyched out by them, because I imagine that they're going to be quite powerful. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know there's been a few criticisms of this sort of Chaos Reveal. People say there's not enough information in it. I kind of see that. You just got to read in between the lines, I guess. But what do you guys think is going to be, sort of the upcoming Chaos strategies? I've said Berserkers and Demon Engines, backed up by, Marines. But what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to see a lot more sort of Psychers and Warp related stuff? Or do you think we're going to see, just lots and lots of foot-slogging traitor legions? It'd be interesting to see. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you found it sort of informative and it has prepared you for the upcoming storm that will be 8th edition. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.